Hey, Phantomaniacs, it's Major Monday here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. We are taking a look at some of the figures from the first wave of wrestling's heels and faces from Zombie Sailor Toys. These are the three figures that I ordered. Now, I did order 2 Brian Myers and 2 Matt Cardonas because I wanted to have one of each to open and one to keep mint on card, hopefully to have signed. As we will see, mint on card is going to be potentially a difficult proposition with this line going forward. We'll get into it. I'm mentioning Earl Hebner here because I don't think I'm going to open this one. Originally, I was going to, but when I ordered it, I was like, man, I need a referee. And now I'm kind of like, I don't really need a referee. So this one is going to stay on the card. I don't know if I'm going to flip it or what I'm going to do. And if I do flip it, I'm going to put it up for what I paid for it and let the market determine how much I get. But the figure looks great. You can see, look at the detail on the buttons on his shirt, the belt buckle, the way the shirt's tucked into the pants. Like, I really do like this figure quite a bit, but I just don't, for my shelf, I just don't really feel the need for a referee now. Likeness-wise, I would put it among some of the less accurate Hasbros, but it looks great. You can see the deco on that face is it's immaculate. I'm just not sure they quite captured Earl Hebner, but also you got to consider the fact Earl Hebner is one of those guys that we've been seeing on our screens for decades now. So our brains aren't calibrated to recognize an actual young Earl Hebner. This is more, this is a painting of Earl, or perhaps a digitally enhanced photo of young Earl. I'm not sure what they went with on the card art. So, I don't know. I think our brains might be telling us that it doesn't look like Earl Hebner, but that it maybe does a little bit more. But anyway, the figure looks phenomenal. I love the interchangeable hands, but we're here to unbox things. So, that's what we got to get down to. Oh, and I will mention, completely beautiful, minty. There's a little bit, you can see there's a little bend on the J-hook here. And I'm going to point out some of these little packaging imperfections because this is a $40+ collector-oriented line. And I'll be honest, I expected perfection from this, especially with the hype from Zombie Sailor Toys leading into this. A lot of smack was talked, we'll say. So you can see the cross-sell on the back, which I love. I mean, this card is gorgeous. The presentation here is impeccable. So we've got the cross-sell, we've got the card art across the bottom. We have the original. Ooh, having a little difficulty zooming on that. I'll tell you what, let's get Cardona and Myers out of the way. We have the original Ron Rudat artwork for the figure, including the alternate striped shirt design that I have to assume will be produced at some point, although you'll notice this is going to require different tooling. So they're not going to just repaint this shirt, which is maybe something a toy company would do. So I appreciate that. Look forward to seeing what the striped shirt version looks like, because I'm sure it's going to come out at some point. And then you've got a little file card on the back here. Absolutely great. The product looks beautiful. There's no denying that. So now it's time. I think we got to open somebody up, and I'm going to start with the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, one of my favorite guys in the business right now. And both Brian Myers came to me pristine. You can see these cards look great. No creases, no bends on mine. And I will say, a lot of damaged cards have been reported online, but how many people are sharing their minty, pristine, perfect cards? There is the jump to, and look, I in the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Facebook group and on the Needless Things channel Instagram, I shared my bent cards because people need to know this stuff. I mean, I review toys. That's my thing. So I wanted to get it out there, but I didn't present it in an overly negative manner. I didn't lose my mind about it. And Zombie contacted me and is replacing one of the Cardonas that was bent up. So what more could you ask for? So again, we've got the cross-sell on the back, that awesome Ron Rudat sketch, and then Brian Myers' little file card back there to clip and save. Again, the presentation here is great, but I will say much was made of the sturdiness of these cards. And look, they're thick. They're thick cards, but I was expecting something along the lines of Marvel Legends retro cards, like even thicker than this and more resistant to damage. So let's, real quick, we'll just take a, since I've talked so much about the cards here, we'll go ahead and take a look at the less damaged Cardona that I got. You can see right here, it came this way, and it was not damaged during shipping because the box that it came in is one of the thickest shipping boxes I've ever seen. Inside, it was packed with paper and a couple of pieces of bubble wrap. These were not individually wrapped in bubble wrap. Look, I'm going to say it, they could have been packed better, 100%, because I don't know if this damage occurred because they weren't packed as well, or if they were sent out like this. I don't know, but you can see this is not for a $40+ collector line. That's just not acceptable. I would compare these to Super 7's reaction figures, and I have dozens of those that have made it to me minty. And maybe that's not a fair comparison. Certainly Super 7 is a larger operation than Zombie Sailor Toys, but you're comparing their product. That's the market that Zombie Sailor Toys is getting into, is that small independent company market, and he's competing with Super 7 whether he likes it or not. And, you know, this, I kept it because I'm going to open it and review it, so I'm not going to put the guy through the hassle of swapping out two of my figures, but I did send one back. The other one, and there are pictures up on Instagram so you can see what I'm talking about, was basically like that. Matter of fact, that's almost exactly what the damage looked like on the other Cardona I got, which again, just not acceptable. But check out, well, I'll put up the picture right now. So there you go, you can see. But again, presentation, my gosh, just gorgeous. You got to think about the work that went into just the graphics on these cards. These are going to be, if you're going to keep them mint on card, you're going to have to get some protectors for them. But a collection of these is going to look phenomenal. But you know what? We're not here to keep these mint on card. We're here to, as the man would say, let him breathe. So let's let him breathe. Oh, look at that. That bubble separates nice and clean. I like that. Pops right off. But it is firmly attached. Like these, I have no complaints whatsoever about how secure these bubbles are. Like those things are glued on. They're not going anywhere. But they do pull right off, which is nice. Well done on that for sure. All right. So let's put that packaging aside and take a look at the always ready Matt Cardona. He feels great. He feels sturdy. I'm not afraid to move anything. Gosh, everything is nice and snug. Wow. He's got nipples, very important for a wrestling figure, in my opinion. Wow, and I'm not afraid to drop this guy, to bang him around. Just dropped him on the floor even, and no paint issues, no problems. Like this is a toy right here. As much as it's labeled a, let's do a finger test just for fun, and I may regret this. Dropped him right on those delicate fingers. You know how delicate, and worth pointing out, only 5 fingers on each hand. So that's a step up from other recent Cardona toys. Look at this. This guy is tough. He is taking some damage. I mean, he's taking no damage. He's taking some punishment. He's taking no damage. All right, so let's take a look at, oh man, the feel of this guy is just wonderful. So the deco on the face looks fantastic. Those eyes look great. That hair, look at the different colors in the big giant hair on this guy. Man. I mean, that likeness is just, could not be any better. The paint is 1000% on point. Wow. Wow. He's got a great looking tan. And look at the wrapping. That's actual sculpted tape. It's not just painted on there. Looks fantastic. And I like, if you'll notice, the figure is nice and glossy. Looks great. But the tape is not glossy. It's got a nice matte finish, so it looks like tape. Man, he feels so nice. This execution. I'm going to go ahead and say the execution of this figure is perfect. You've got a little flash. I don't care, but it's there. But let's take a look at the gear. So I don't know if you can tell really. Let me move my light a little bit. There we go. This gear has metallic blue and silver. Gosh, it looks phenomenal. There we go. Look at the accuracy, the fine detail. Unbelievable. He's got the MC, the Matt Cardona on the knee pads and then the knee covers or whatever. I don't know what the difference is between this piece and this piece. But, man. Oh, look at the tattoo. He's got the tattoo on the lower leg. The MC on his boots. Look at the buckles and everything. This might be where he hit the floor. I bet it is. Which is fine, because he'll match my Hasbro's. I should have done this close look before I dropped him on the floor, huh? Look at that metallic blue. Oh, just fantastic. This figure is unbelievable. Worth every penny if you're going to open it up for sure. As I said, if you want a minty mint on card, you just, be aware that it may not arrive that way, but it probably will. Beautiful. All right, now let's open up the most... Oh, wait a minute. Can he stand up? Yes, he can stand up. He stands up fine. He's a little back heavy, maybe, but whatever. There you go. He's great. Now, the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers. Again, just sort of to take a look at it. It is a thick card, but it's just not quite as thick as I expected. But I have no reason to think it was going to be thicker. It's not like Zombie Sailor Toys pushed that idea. All right, here we go. We've got Brian Myers based on the Hasbro jumper design in honestly kind of plain gear. I feel like maybe a different gear selection would have been made if these were put into production a little later. But, it looks... They did great with what they've got. Likeness-wise... I don't love this line right here. This is very distracting to me. Let's even pretty far back. That neckline is a little unsightly. I'm not sure what the solution would have been. I wonder if you could have had the neck be part of the torso and the head mounted on that. I think that would have looked a little better, because this is... I'm not loving that. Hair-wise, I think they got the hair and the beard look very good. That smile is a lot. His teeth are whiter than white. That's something else. This probably isn't the portrait I would have gone with, but it's the one we've got. And I will say this, it feels like a Hasbro portrait. Yes, I would rather have a mean muggin' Brian Myers, kind of like what we've got right here. But this look, a little more toyetic, I gotta say. He also has the sculpted wrist tape. The detail, let's move him around. That's great. Don't love this, but here's the alternative to this is if the torso had been done in black plastic and painted in flesh color, and that would look terrible. So I'll take this over that any day. And it looks like, no, see, this isn't great. Didn't quite get all the paint going on right here. I missed a little bit over here too. So that's not super. Definitely could have done a nicer job getting this black down around the bottom of the singlet. Not real happy with that. The deco on the singlet looks good. The trim looks really nice. Get a little bit of silver going maybe where it's not supposed to in here. But again, I mean, it's tough because these are, yes, $40+ collector toys. But at the same time, if you look at Hasbro's, they have these same kind of little issues. I guess I just kind of don't expect those from this line. But it's not terrible. It's not this. Okay, this is pretty terrible. But like as far as the silver trim, it's all pretty much where it should be. He's got the tattoos, Madison and Mackenzie, on his forearms. Very well done. Let's see if we can get a nice little close-up on that. And maybe we can't. There we go. Excellent. And then the striping on the side, sort of reminiscent of Bret Hart a little bit. Looks good. This looks great because what we have here is the bottom part, the actual tights portion of his gear is a more matte color, if you can tell. But then we get the shine on the boots. I love the different glosses that were used here. I don't love that they got to get that black underneath just a little bit better than they did. Overall, not quite as satisfied with Myers. I can't call this a perfect figure. It's a cool figure. I'm going to put it on the shelf and I'm going to enjoy it. But it's just, they didn't quite nail it like they did with that Cardona. Gosh, I loved it. Look at the detail on the kickers. Very, very cool. So lots of good here, a little bit of bad. Now we've got to do the test and check out side by side with some Hasbro's what these guys look like. I am going to bring out Sergeant Slaughter because he's one of my favorite toy subjects of all time, and also I wanted to get in a cheap plug for Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, available every single Friday wherever you get your podcasts. So, we've got Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan, and Andre the Giant from the original Hasbro WWF line, and you can see we've got, and I also chose these because we wanted some different skin tones, and you can see that these guys blend right in with these Hasbro figures. Now, there's a lot more deco going on, a lot more, well, but look at this. Look at the snaps on Slaughter's belt here. The fact that those are painted in, that camo looks fantastic. He's got sculpted, sorry, the camera does not like multiple layers of things to look at. So Slaughter has the sculpted, and yeah, I've got, look, my standard for vintage toys is what would mine look like if I still had it today. I'm not looking for pristine. That's not what I'm here for. I'm looking for sweet, sweet nostalgia. So he's got sculpted wristbands. Like, this is a great looking figure. So, you know, you get him, and then Hogan with that wonderful tan, the slits cut in the back of his shirt. Again, you can see the comparison. So let's bring up Cardona here. Size-wise, you know, Cardona is probably not quite as tall as the Hulkster, but back in the Hasbro days, he would have been made using that body. That's just how it would have been, or that, you know, those legs and those arms. So this works. This is just a modern version of this. It's not like Hasbro's Retro Kenner figures. It's a different kind of thing. These are the ultimate version of this, but they're gonna look great on the shelf together. And that was my biggest concern, was what kind of finish are these gonna have on them? How are we gonna, how are they gonna look on the shelf? And the answer to that is they're gonna look great. They're gonna look fantastic. So just because I threw Cardona around a little bit, let's give Myers the old Andre. Whoa! That almost turned into a razor's edge, and that was not my intent. Got to give Myers a little toss there as well. But, I mean, look, they work. You can see it. It's right in front of your face. These figures go together. These are just slightly plussed up versions of Hasbro's. I think Zombie Sailor Toys has accomplished exactly what they intended to accomplish with this line. Literally, my only issues are the people are going to want these mint on card. So the carding, whether they're packed a little bit better or it gets a little bit thicker, that has to be addressed. And then, this is the first wave. You gotta, little things like this, I would be comfortable guaranteeing that when Zombie Sailor Toys sees enough of this sort of thing, we're not going to see it in future waves. I feel like if he saw little paint misses like this, he's going to get on top of it. As a matter of fact, I would be willing to bet if I contacted him about this one and was like, look, this guy's jacked up, I want a replacement, he'd probably send me a replacement. But I'm not going to do that. Although I will say, darn it, I wish I'd looked a little closer and opened the other Myers. As a matter of fact, hang on just a second. Okay, so I'm going to try to take a look at this. He's got maybe a tiny bit of that going on. It's not as bad. Man, okay, so here's my recommendation. If you ordered 2 of these, take a good look at them while they're still in the bubble to see which one looks better to open up. Or if you want to leave the better looking one in the package, however you want to do it. But if you got 2, just take a real close look at just the paint and everything else. And maybe that, that's my fault. I was amateur hour and didn't really think about that. But it was because the figures look so perfect, like that. So anyway, you guys, thank you for watching. This line, thumbs up, has my recommendation. If you were on the fence about what these were going to be, about what they were going to look like, they definitely get the Needless Things seal of approval. I am thrilled. I cannot wait to get Danhausen and some of the other figures that are coming out soon. But there you go. Cardona and Myers looking mostly great. Wow. What a big accomplishment for Zombie Sailor Toys. I'm so impressed. And once again, totally comfortable doing that, which is wild. That's how sturdy these guys feel. So there you go. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please like, subscribe, share. We're here every week with brand new toy reviews. Woo woo woo. You know it.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.